Hello, everyone. Today is World Social Justice Day. And social justice in India basically relates to treating everyone equally and having no discrimination based on race, religion, caste, gender, etc. So I thought, why not bring to you a story um, about this woman who fought very hard to end gender discrimination in some basic needs of women and strove hard for women empowerment. This is the story of Savitri. She was probably 12 years old when she was married off. Yes, she was a child bride. And this story dates back to the 19th century. The only good thing about her marriage was that her husband was a very understanding man. Savitri showed lot of interest in education, in reading, in learning how to read. And as we all know, back in the 19th century, women in schools were not even thought of. There was no girl who would go to school. Girls were meant for many other things, especially domestic chores. Studying, going to school, going out of the house was never her cup of tea or was never something that she could do in those times. Savitri's husband, Jyotiba, realized her desire to learn to read. Yes, I am talking about the very famous Phules, Jyotiba Phule and Savitribai Phule. Jyotiba realized that Savitribai was keen on learning how to read, so he took time to be her teacher. He taught her how to read. He brought her up to a level where she could read, not only read, she could write poetry on her own. That was okay, that was doable because they would do that in the four corners, in the four walls of their own house. That was no challenge. The challenge started when they started dreaming big. When Savitri Bai realized that other girls, other women could also be taught how to read, and that would uplift them, that would change their lives forever. And that's when she stepped out, tried to gather students, female students, for her school. Do you think it would have been easy for her back in the 19th century? A Dalit woman stepping out to educate other girls and women? Absolutely not. Jyotiba and Savitribai Phule were totally an outcast, not only in their family but in the whole society. But they did not give up. Savitribai strove hard and went around her neighboring villages to gather students. She managed. She managed to gather 8 students for her first batch. And as we all talk about all the firsts, let's not forget that Savitribai Phule was the first woman teacher of India. And she educated 8 girls single handedly for the first time. Now, when she was in search of these students, another thing that came to her mind was the situation that young child brides were subject to. Her luck was not only good that Jyotiba understood her need for education, but also because he had a longer life. Imagine those child brides who became child widows before even understanding the concept of marriage. We all know, we have read in history books rather, that they were tonsured probably and they were socially outcast. They were not invited for any functions. They were not even involved in any household matters. They would probably be sitting somewhere in the house or in the backyard. Savitri Bai realized that all her students were also unmarried or, not even in the age of marriage. And those were the ones who were attending school. These child widows were not even allowed to step out to go to her school. And what was their fault? That they were married to someone and that person had passed away. Also, one major problem was they were tonsured. These child widows were tonsured because of which their marital status was disclosed to everyone. And once they were declared a child widow, they were probably an open property in the society. Savitribai realized this. And the only reason that, or the only way that people knew that they were child widows were because they were tonsured. So she gathered all the barbers in the community and she got them to protest against this child widow tonsuring. And that's when it started to decline. Naturally, Savitribai was infamous in Maharashtra for all the bad things that she was doing. Whereas she fought hard for women's education, upliftment of women, and stopping tonsuring of these child widows. Today, on World Social Justice Day, I would like to remind all of you, especially all my female counterparts here, that you and I wouldn't have probably even been able to read or write had it not been for that woman who stood up against the whole society so that we can write, talk, and even face the camera today. Thank you.